Hey guys, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm your host Shane Hinton, and you'll hear that I have amazing audio right now because I have an amazing mic now. I'm no longer using my headphones, which is amazing, and I feel so good, and my voice sounds amazing. With me is my young apprentice, Alex Whiteley.
Oh, I like that. I like that young. The young part of that is the best part. Never mind the apprentice bit. Yeah.
You have nothing to say about the Whitley thing, then, no?
No, that's right. You call me young. That's great. Let's go with that one. Shane, that was a great intro. I was like, oh, Shane, bring in the show. And he's like, hello. We give him this amazing microphone. And he speak. Yeah.
This isn't any podcast. This is an M&S podcast. Anyway,
man, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good. I'm so happy I've got a decent mic now, and I can actually hear myself talking, which is really, really good. Because there's nothing worse than like you wearing like headphones, and you're talking, and you can't actually hear yourself. And it's like
okay. So for the listeners right now, we did a test last night, audio test, and Shane was like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You're very quiet, but at least I can hear myself." And I was like.
I did. And not only that, I worked out then how to turn the audio down from the computer and then turn myself up, so I can hear myself really clearly in my ears, and it's glorious. It's amazing, which is why I sound really chill right now, because I'm no longer like trying to shout, so I can hear myself speak. So yeah, and I've got this amazing stealth mic, and I'm just good. I'm in heaven right now. I'm loving life.
Good. Would you like to introduce our guests that are just sat patiently waiting for you to start?
With us today is he's been on here a couple of times before. We have Luke Allen, who is a young director from Shrewsbury, who's already done a few things. He's been on the podcast a couple of times already, haven't you, Luke?
Yeah, once with Alex Westwood, and then once for the Open Studio, I think.
We don't talk about Alex Westwood. So we'll bleep that out.
But we're on out. Don't. Yeah, we're not allowed. He wrote us a letter. He was like, "Can you stop mentioning my name, please?"
He hates being in the spotlight.
Yeah, he absolutely hates being talked about.
And Luke's brought with him Alex Yousefi, so it's going to get really confusing because now we've got two Alexes again.
Yeah, I only work with Alexes. It's a weird thing. It's very, very hard to work around, but I only work with Alexes. We've got Alex McQueen in the film. We've got Alex Yousefi co-writing, co-directing. It's a hard way of working, but it works
Alex,
out in the end.
Are you Alex 1 or Alex 2?
Oh, no, you can be. What do you mean? You can be Alex 1.
No, I meant with this collection of Alexes that Luke has collected over the years.
Well, I hope I'm not.
I'm Al. You can call.
So we're here today. Luke is working. Well, Luke and Alex actually is working on a new.
Me.
Not you, shut up. Is working on a new production, which I actually only really knew about when I saw the post on Facebook, I believe, announcing one of the actors. And I was like, well, what? What's Luke doing now? And I just dropped into his DMs, proper slid right in there. And we just got talking. And this is the start of a bit of a series, I think I'd like to do. And we're going to hopefully monitor the progress of what Alex is doing. So Alex and Luke, oh, God, this is getting really confusing. Can I just call you Whiteley? Because it'll just make it so much easier.
Al. Just Al. I've just said it about 18 times. It's called me Al. Just Al.
So, guys, I'm going to hand over to you in a minute. Just tell the listeners what you're doing, because I think it's awesome.
I'll hand it over to you, Alex. We've done this. We've done this like three or four times now. I still don't know what to say. So over to you.
So we're doing a comedy surrealist short film set in a charity shop, and it's like, well, I'll give a synopsis. Like it follows Mike, and it's his first day on the job, and it's like the roughest shift of his life, and nothing goes right. That's brief. That's like all we're giving away.
Well, yeah. If we say anything else, we give away some like central gags.
Yeah,
'cause it's
pretty
very
much.
much. It's a kind of Dominoes sort of thing. I think we sent you guys the script, but I don't remember, so I don't know if
Yeah,
you know.
I've read most of it, not all of it. I've read today in between all of my errands and sleep after my night shift. I've been reading it. And it's very good. I gotta say,
It's more than me.
surreal is definitely the right word for it. So
Yeah. It's the type of comedy which, in writing it, we were kind of like, this is either going to be hilarious or awful. There's no in between. There is,
No.
and yeah, it's stupid, surreal comedy. It's kind of
I see aspects of it I see like little influences from movies I've seen before, like little snippets that I think are great little homages. You know, there's a scene in it that reminds me of Jonah Hill's great scene in 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he's got the goldfish boots. He's like, I want to buy these, and it's an eBay store, and she's like, no, you got to go home and buy it on your internet. He goes, can I not just give you money for these shoes? I really want to wear them. And they're like these really massive platform boots with like a goldfish in the middle, like the awkward customer that just won't do.
I mean, that was like, admittedly, that wasn't a knowing homage.
No,
it's been
no.
a while since I saw the film, but things have probably subliminally slipped through. The big stuff for us, well, for my side of stuff, was like Monty Python, Naked Gun, that sort of stuff.
Blackadder.
For Blackadder, yeah, and for Alex, you were kind of IT Crowd, Black Books. So yeah, they kind of crossed over, and now we read back through the script and we get to a gag, and I wouldn't be able to tell you which one of us wrote it. So I guess that's good. Maybe.
So where did you two find each other then? Like, how did you just bump in, sitting next to each other on a bus, and you're just like, let's write a film? And you're like, yeah, cool. Yeah. How did it start?
Who's doing this one? Like, you're...
I don't mind. We were both studying film at GCSE at the same school, and I think we were forced into a group on a. I can't remember. Were we forced or were we?
Yeah,
did we decide? I can't remember.
In film studies, I don't think we talked much in film. It was when it changed that we were like. That's when
they changed the course. There was some stuff going on behind the scenes, but behind the scenes, that's not how you talk about a school. But there we go. There was some stuff going on. They changed the course a little bit, and as it started to become kind of a lot more less sit down and study and more kind of practical stuff, we got asked to go into groups to work on a project, and we came out with one of the worst short films you'll ever see.
Whoa, come on now. At least we made one.
That's very true. That's very true.
We do have. I'm going to share the trailer for.
Oh no!
Well, I did send it in. I can't. Yeah,
you send it in.
It's like this. It's like those kind of, those chat show moments where they're all embarrassed and it's like, come on, why did you send that? And now I realise I did it. It was late last night. I was like, I'll send him the trailer. I think I sent you the whole film as well, but we're not watching that.
No, we haven't got 10 minutes to watch the whole film. But also, we'll watch it, and then I'll share my input on this because I think it's important. Here is for the listeners for the listeners that aren't watching this on YouTube. This is the trailer for Common Denominator. You can just have to listen to it. If you want to watch it, go to our YouTube channel and watch this video back. But here we go.
And subscribe.
Good morning, class. I'm your new teacher, Gavin.
I've been talking to Julia, and she tells me that she doesn't believe you are the man you say you are.
Where's the bloody money?
So why would anyone pretend to be Gavin? No idea. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm finding it hard to believe this. Mind you, he was a bit odd earlier. No milk in his coffee.
There you go. That's the trailer for Common Denominator. What does it feel like watching that back?
I'm just aware that we've shown this, and then I'm going to go and ask all your listeners to give us money for the next film. It doesn't look good.
Surprisingly, I enjoyed watching the trailer.
Yeah,
I liked that actually.
Okay, this is where I come in now and be like,
Oh God.
I'm going to compare my life to you guys, and this is what I've done in my life. Yeah. No, I think I've listened back to my first sort of 3 episodes of a podcast I ever released back in 2016, 2015, I think it was. And it's awful. It's the worst, right? It's the most terrible thing. I really do enjoy what I do behind a microphone now. I feel like I've got good skills, right? But like back then, no, it was awful. It was so bad. My first ever intro to a podcast took 17 attempts.
It was nearly as bad as me.
Keep it up, Hinton.
Yeah.
Keep it up. We have got a naughty corner on StreamYard right now, and we'll put you in the naughty corner. No, I just I feel like you've got to do that. You've got to start, haven't you? You've got to begin somewhere. Right?
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, there is almost the fear when making a film of what if it's bad, which either way, it's you've got to make the bad stuff first in order to get better. Like, I mean, I'm saying that right next to my framed photo of Tommy Wiseau, my framed autograph of Tommy Wiseau. So,
wow,
I'm waiting for him to get better. But yeah, I think it's important that you just go out and make stuff.
Yes,
and it's not as embarrassing as one might think when you make a bad film. I don't think. I mean, I'm still very thankful to everyone who was involved, and I'm really grateful that people went and did it. Everyone involved really put all their effort in. It's us and mostly me and the writing and directing that didn't make it work as well. The actors were great, the crew were great, but I think when people are afraid of making things in case they are bad, at the end of it, often it's a slight scale. A couple of my things you look back and cringe at, but it's not so much that you feel embarrassed, more that it's actually just a nice thing to have a laugh about. That I think that's kind of the best approach to have to things. So if anyone's scared of making something bad, just make it and leave everyone else to decide if it's bad or not.
Yeah. Well, I've talked about it on the show many times. One of my heroes is Kevin Smith, and Kevin Smith borrowed a lot of money, got some cameras, made a movie in his shop that it was around the corner from him, and it was bought by Miramax. And there you go. This is the beginning of Jay and Silent Bob, and he was very much like yourself. He was just like, just make it. If it fails, it fails. If it doesn't, then you've made what you've got to lose. What have you got to lose?
Yeah, exactly.
Apart from money. And respect,
which is why we're asking for your money.
And like you've been on the show a couple of times, and you are a brilliant. You have a great knowledge of movies. I don't know about yourself, Alex, but I mean you're rocking around with Luke. I think Luke, you pride yourself around sort of like the people you have around you. From what I've seen, you've got a great team of people that you just seem to gravitate towards you. And you don't shy away from the fact that you want to go out there and make something of yourself. Yeah, I think it's really cool. What's this new project you're making then? Because I feel like this is a massive step up for you guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Massive.
Almost accidentally massive.
Yeah.
You take over on this one, Alex.
What? Okay. Wow. Ooh. So, like, where do I start?
When it comes to making a huge step like this, is it daunting? Is it exciting? Is it scary? What is going through your head right now?
It's a bit of all of them, because, like you said, it is definitely a leap up, and I'm a bit skeptical at points whether it's too much of a leap up, whereas like there's not as much of a gradual progression. Like if you go and watch Con Man and then you go and watch this, then we're like the difference in quality that we're hoping for, it's too crazy to imagine. But I'm also really excited because obviously this is exciting. You know what I mean? Like this is going to be great.
Yeah, and it's also nice whenever we send the script to people and they want to get involved. That I think this may be the one script I've sent to the most people because it's just we've rewritten it so many times, and especially with comedy, once you know the jokes, they don't work as well. So when we've rewritten and edited over and over again, I read the script completely straight faced, and it's just kind of like, is this supposed to be funny? I'm not sure. And then I go and send it to someone, and they go, "Oh, I really love this bit," and it's this, and it brings back up the kind of love and faith back into our own project.
I suppose that's just part of the the work that goes into these sort of things. It's a bit that people don't see. It's the grind. It's the like you said, it's the writing and rewriting and reevaluating and then deleting a massive chunk of it and starting all over again. And
sometimes it will be a like 5-hour writing meeting that we'll have, and all we'll decide over those 5 hours is to cut something we already wrote rather than write anything new. Yeah. And that can feel awful, but then we look back at it afterwards and it's like, I'm so glad we cut that because that would not have fit.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. Sometimes our favorite things that we've written one day, the next day is the worst thing ever. Like we had a completely different ending to what we have now, and we're not going to say what either are.
The ending is something that has been completely changed multiple times,
and we may change it again.
We may change it again.
And I like that we tease it, but we obviously can't say because that's the point of an ending. But it's there was. We were going to originally have a very, very self-aware ending of just, I think it was like a guy turning to camera and saying, "Oh, by the way, we've run out of ideas to write, so here's the credits," or something like that. And we thought, "Oh, that's funny." And then a couple of days later, I think we had a chat with someone. We looked back at it, and it was like, "This is just being lazy and telling everyone that we are lazy."
Yeah.
I like that though. It's good. It reminds me a bit like with these bits that you take out. What do you do with them? Do you roll them, just destroy them, delete them, gone, ever done, or do you put them in a use later file?
Well, every draft of the script is saved separately, so potentially it's all there to go back on. If the next thing we decide to write together is kind of maybe tonally similar, or we want to do comedy again, which I assume we probably will. We'll probably go back through some of the older drafts and be like, "Oh, that joke was good, but we'll pop that in here." The greats do that, nicking cut jokes from their old movies. Richard Curtis, who I look up to massively, a deleted scene from Four Weddings and a Funeral finds its way in Love Actually, which is when Colin, Chris Marshall's character, is talking to the chef at the wedding and just digging a hole deeper and deeper, and it's very, very funny. And it's not until you realize afterwards you go, "Oh yeah, he's so Hugh Grant in that scene." But yeah, it's great.
Reminds me of Morty's Mind Blowers, Rick and Morty. You got these. They've written like these small concepts for episodes that didn't quite make episodes, but they're like, I know what we can do with these. We could chuck them in a souffle, and we can make.
It's a good episode as well. You wouldn't think something like that would work, but it works great.
It's ingenious, absolutely ingenious.
So maybe all the jokes we don't like, we make like a sketch comedy or something, and just have like little ones there. I don't know.
Yeah. And last time we spoke to you, we were talking about your podcast, Minute About Time, and you very famously, it's in the record books now, Luke. But you've you managed to gather some pretty big names to surrounding your show, come on your show. There are so many things that, like I said, these things just seem to gravitate towards you. It's amazing to see. How do you let's talk about the cast that you're managing to put together for this film that you're making. How do you go out and do this? How do you get these people to be part of your journey?
I don't even know.
You've got a good ideology of the you don't ask, you don't get, and that is literally how this is. That's literally what spiraled this upward. So
it's and yes, when you ask, not so much asking directly actually, but when you ask in like some of the filmmakers groups on Facebook, for example, people do not like the idea of working for free. I'll just throw that out there. We pop a call out. Oh, we need production designer on this project by 2 16-year-olds. Are you going to be paying them? No, we're 16, and it's like, well, you can't expect anyone to work if they're not. There's stuff like that. But then there's always a good few people that's the minority. There's always a good few people who are like, yeah, I'll help. I'll get on board. I want to. And that, for me, I understand that for some people, they're not in the financial position to be able to do so. That makes absolute sense. The type of people who act as if we've directly targeted them on social media and get offended at the concept annoys me a lot. But what you do find when working on low budget or when working for free is you only ever get people who have an actual genuine passion for their craft on board. People who actually who enjoy doing it for the sake of doing it rather than for the sake of the next paycheck. And that's the people who I want to work with. These are the people who, if we end up working with budgets where we're paying people, these are the people who I'll be phoning up.
I remember you when I'm famous. That famous saying, "Oh, when I'm famous, don't worry, I'll take you with me. You can be my D12 to my M&M."
Luke sends like a package in the post with like a load of money in it with like a little note in it saying "with interest."
But I think Luke as well. There's that small group of people that really want to pay it forward. You know, this is something this is a story. I remember I went round to pick up we just moved into a place. Went to pick up a fairly new mattress, but it was second hand for a place from a friend who I worked with, and her fella asked you, it was like, "I'll help you with the mattress." It was one of the weirdest things that ever happened, but I'll never forget it. Right? And he goes, "All right, mate, I'm going to do something very odd now." I was like, upstairs in the bedroom, go get this, and he put £50 in my hand, and he goes, "Remember this. I'm giving you £50, and this is a loan, and you're going to give it on to somebody else that needs it when they need it when you're later on in life. Pay it forward. Remember it." And I was like, "That's hard, right?" But I looked it up, and there's people that genuinely will do that. They will help someone when they're younger, or like yourselves, just starting off in their career. There
was a brilliant Haley Joel Osment movie, Pay It Forward, which, yeah.
I like Haley Joel Osment. He's great, especially in Tusk. If you've never seen Tusk, make sure you watch Tusk.
I haven't seen Tusk. But yeah, Pay It Forward is
probably too young to watch it.
Maybe. I'm loading up IMDb now. But yeah, that's the kind of people that we're asking for this, I guess, is that kind of concept of support a project. And we've had some shockingly generous donations with this campaign. So we've set our kind of minimum target at £750 because we didn't know how much we could get. We've never worked with a budget before, so we thought we start £750. We made that within less than a week with people coming. We get stuff through, and it was like, here's someone who's just gone and given us 120 quid, and it's just like, whoa, okay. And we had a good few of we had like 2 or 3 of the 120 quid donations, which was our highest perk that we didn't think anyone would go for, and we had quite a few of them and quite a few others, and it was kind of it still shocks me. But obviously when we reached the 750, which was on there, like, things have slowed down, but we still, if we can raise more, the film will be better and better. So that's why we're here. Keep donating, please.
So we talk about this cast. Can we sort of announce some of the stars that are going to be in this amazing flick that you made?
Yes. When's this going out? Because I sent you all the pictures.
Wednesday.
But there's one. Okay. What, as in a week today, or as in today?
Yeah, in 7 days.
A week today.
7 days.
Okay, yeah, that's good. We're announcing one on at time of recording. We're announcing one on Radio Shropshire tomorrow, so we can talk about them. That's great.
Okay.
Who do we want to talk about first, Alex?
You go for it, because I don't want to get this wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Let's talk about Ewan.
Okay, yeah.
I've sent you all the picture. There we go. There's Ewan. Ewan McIntosh went back in when he was in The Office as Keith. And he is, and then there's him now, or one of his later pictures. And he is a lovely, lovely guy who I had back on 2 Minutes About Time. He randomly popped up on my Facebook at one point, literally after I'd finished watching the UK Office, scrolling through Facebook on my You May Know, and it was like, well, I was just watching you on TV 5 minutes ago. I'll send you a friend request. And so I invited him onto 2 Minutes About Time.
Nice.
He is not a Richard Curtis fan. He was not a fan of that movie. And it was so much fun to have him on. And so we stayed in touch. We wrote the script. Like Alex and I wrote the script for this. Probably started writing back in June, July time. Took a big break. Then got back into it around November, December. And then messaged Ewan towards the end of December and was just like, hey, you do comedy. Are you able to give us some feedback on this script? and he agreed. And then I just thought I'd push it a little further and say, any chance you'd like to play one of the customers? Who, if you have having read the script, that first customer, I think that's the most Ewan McIntosh character.
I was going to say he's the DVD guy.
Yeah. You can say. I think we can say the DVD guy.
Yeah.
The DVD. We can now. Yeah.
By the way, this is the ending, and this is who dies. I was going to reveal the whole story. Spoilers. Yeah.
But yeah, he and then we started chatting with him even more, and he had been so helpful because he put us in touch with some of the people who advised us on budgeting and who gave us some of the funding to the film. And it was like, would you like to be our executive producer? And yeah, and it's his only exec producer credit on IMDb, which is so exciting. And He's lovely. He's done he did a podcast we were on with us recording yesterday for an American show called Cosmic Geppetto. And so it's just so exciting to have someone of his caliber like on the creative team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. That is nice. Yeah. Who else is in this then? Got you, and who sounds amazing, by the way. You'll have to get me in touch with him. He'll come on my podcast. It sounds great.
Well, there's a good chance with all of this that you'll be on set and interviewing folks. So
That's true.
then you get to meet pretty much all of these except the one who's doing voiceover, who I guess we can talk about now. Alex, do you want to talk about our voiceover one? And who we got?
He's the operator, Alex McQueen.
Yeah.
Who you will.
That's not someone else. We'll talk about him in a second.
Let's talk about Winter.
Let's talk about Winter.
Yeah, let's just talk about Winter.
He was our announcement today. There we go. That's Alex McQueen.
Yeah,
You had one job, Al.
yeah. You'll most know him probably as Neil's dad from The Inbetweeners, but like he has done so many like sitcoms, like British sitcoms.
You go on his IMDb, he has been in everything.
You'll recognise his face, but you probably won't know the name, but you definitely recognise the face.
Is he as well spoken in real life as he is on the Inbetweeners? Because he is very well. Oh, Neil, why did you do that? He's very well.
He is really polite and well spoken, isn't he, Luke? Like,
yeah, he was, especially considering like a lot of his characters are quite kind of, I wouldn't say kind of, what's the right word for it? A lot of his characters are kind of
stiff.
impolite, I think, and kind of stiff, yeah. And it was quite surreal when we had our chat with him. He called us on WhatsApp, and we had a little WhatsApp chat with him. He was just like the loveliest, politest bloke you'd ever meet, and it was just kind of like, whoa.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a lovely, lovely guy. And there's a scene where there's a phone operator voice. And as we wrote it, we were like, wouldn't it be really cool if we could get like a recognizable voice from film and TV to do this? And then we asked Alex, and he said, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's Alex number 3.
Alex number 1, if you want to be in my film. I'm Alex number 1, remember?
Alex number 1.
I'm on about the actor, not me. I'm Al, remember? I'm not Alex.
I love you.
Don't start. I will. I'll do it.
Shall we make our announcement for the bloke you already showed the pictures of?
Yeah, well, we may as well now. Let's talk about Winter.
Winter.
There we go.
There we go.
Look.
Winter Phonander, who is a lovely, lovely Irish stand-up comic. And we put a casting call out on Backstage for one of the roles, who is Threatening Man, who is the second customer who enters the shop. I won't say any more because
I'm really funny about this, right? The fact that Luke is literally squirming, so that you can just tell he wants to just get it all out of his system. But yeah, about the bird, his face is like his hair.
It's like having a punchline to a joke and being like, "Oh, I want to tell people the joke." It's funny.
Oh yeah, well, one of my favorite thing I have ever written is one of the jokes in like. No, I'm not even going to say.
No.
So the great thing is Alex Yousefi did not like it for a long, long time, and it's still my favorite thing I've ever written. And whenever I send the script to someone and they say, "Oh, that joke is my favorite joke," I add that to a little chart, and it's just like, there we go.
So he's going to be part of it. And who's Simon? This blue guy here.
Yeah, that's Simon Fisher Becker. who plays the manager. He won't be blue in the film. There we go. That's his headshot, which incidentally looks an awful lot like the manager. So that was the best picture to use. I realized once again to the listeners, they won't get half of this. Just picture a guy who's blue, and then
Have
picture him not
IMDb
blue.
up open and ready to type these names in, folks. You'll see who it is. Yeah.
But yeah, he's best known for playing Dorian Maldovar in Doctor Who. He was in 3 or 4 episodes of Doctor Who playing the big blue guy, Dorian. And then before that, he was Fat Friar in Harry Potter, the first film. And he is a lovely, lovely bloke. He came to the premiere for Unstable, and we've been chatting ever since. And we sent him the script, and he said yes.
Yeah.
Nice. And then there's Ninette.
Ninette, I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
There she is with Ricky
with
Gervais.
Ricky Gervais. Nice.
And she is considered to be the UK's most famous extra. She has been in over 1,000 films or TV shows. I'm imagining that both of you, in seeing her face, kind of had the feeling of I've seen her in something before.
Possibly.
And the only thing is, being an extra, I guess a lot of her things aren't listed on IMDb, so I can't find a full list of all of the net stuff. But like, we'll just now we know her. We're just watching.
We're always
stuff.
on the lookout. Like, she's not credited, but she's in an episode of IT Crowd. Is she credited
She's in like
In-Betweeners?
No, but she's in like 3 episodes of The In-Betweeners. We're just watching stuff, and then Alex and I will message each other, and it's like Nanette's hot, and she's in it. She's everywhere.
It's like Easter eggs, isn't it?
It's amazing, yeah. And she's got a little bigger role, I think, in our thing. Not as big as her role in Derek, the Ricky Gervais show, which is I don't know if any of you've seen Derek. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of television, all about an old people's home. She plays Annie, who I don't think she's as prominent in series. She's there the whole time, as they all are, but she's a lot more prominent in series 2, where I think she ends up going on a date with Derek's dad and stuff like that. And Nanette is just, it was kind of a contact that Ewan put us in touch with, and then his contact that he brought on, who we were chatting with her, and we were like, there's this certain role, we can't say what the role requires, but it was this is hard to say. It was very hard to cast. And Nanette, and then they were like, oh, well, I work with Nanette Finch, do you want me to give you her details? And then I was like, I googled Nanette, and I was like, hold up, she was in Derek, which is one of my favorite shows ever. I was like, yes, please. and like, our WhatsApp chats with Nanette, she is like one of the loveliest people ever.
It really is.
Yeah, so very, very excited to be working with Nanette as well, and just to have all these people together in a room will be
It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be great.
The temptation to just sit and talk with them rather than film will really be building up.
That's where we can come in. Hopefully, we can do that bit for you.
Yeah.
Or at least help anyway.
Okay, so we got the cast down. There's one more picture here. Is that the same guy? He just looks a bit different. Who's
Yeah. There's Winter. Once
That's
again.
Winter. Oh, he looks a bit different.
Who was our big announcement today that was spoiled in the film.
Yeah.
We're fine.
I don't know.
In proper podcast style.
Hashtag Shooter Biscuit. Sorry.
Right, off he goes to the naughty corner. So there we go. Removed
I didn't know you
from the
could do
show.
that. I'm terrified now.
Where did the idea come from to record in a charity shop of all places?
Where did it come from?
We were thinking, weren't we? Where is a place you never see stuff set? Right, like that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, sort of. And I think I'd just come back from a charity shop when we started writing.
So we were like,
it was around the point the charity shops had just started reopening, and I was first there. I was like, yeah, mask on, going in, charity shopping, then taking all the stuff I bought, leaving them in a room for like 3 days to check that they're clean, and proper charity shop style.
Go buy some more copies of Beano. Yeah, charity shops are amazing though, right? Because you are right, Alex. They're places where I just imagine anybody and anything can sort of happen, right? Because you can buy anything, anyone can walk in, you can have a million different scenarios. So I
volunteered in one for a couple of years, and it was the most. You could have both the most and least eventful days. It's
I
lovely
imagine.
and stressful.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this. I can't wait for production to start and things like that. Where do you guys stand with the pandemic at the moment? I know things. Boris has given us a little bit of insight to what's going on throughout the year, but where does that put you with as far as production?
It's actually quite helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, if things go how they are set out to go, and which is we can't rely upon, admittedly.
We do have a month in mind, right? We can't just
we're hoping to film in August.
Yeah,
but if lockdowns come in place, things are compromised, then we will just postpone.
Yeah,
because we don't have the budget to have all the precautions in place. Although we may do if people give us lots and lots of money. But we're. But yeah, it's in many ways the pandemic has been wonderfully helpful because the people who we got on board, everyone just wants to work. Everyone's just like, oh, a film? Yes,
Give me something to do.
So obviously, the more we postpone it, there will be the chances of availabilities of people shifting and things not working as well as we hope. But August, things will happen, hopefully. And we'll keep everyone in the loop. Obviously, everyone who donates will get emails from us saying what's happening, and we'll let people know. But yeah, we're hoping August. Also, the other thing, talking about how great charity shops are, if anyone owns a charity shop that's willing to shop for 3 days.
We really need a location, I beg.
we really need a location. It's kind of an important part of the plot. And
well, between Telford and Shrewsbury, there's a million charity shops out there that might just let you help you.
It's sort of like ideally like toilets, downstairs access, and not near a busy road. That's kind of our thing.
Can you imagine that? We record there for 3 days, and all you can hear is shoo, shoo,
yeah.
the car's going past.
Yeah, it's so that's the aim. The annoying thing is obviously at the moment we can't go and look around, and we can't just walk. You can't just go into a shop and say, "Oh, any chance we could film?" So everything has to be email and contact and sort stuff out. And understandably, with how long shops have had to be shut, they're not so. It's not great for a charity for them to then shut for another 3 days on top of that. We can see and understand that. But we can also say that for those charity shops who are wondering whether or not, it could potentially be some really great publicity. We can invite the Shropshire Star along, maybe, get some photos taken of... I mean, we can't confirm Shropshire Star. That's their job. We haven't asked the Shropshire Star. But we could get photos of...
Star, by the way, just saying.
What?
Just throwing out the Biscuits.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. But
I can stay in their lane.
But yeah, we get the photos of Ewan and Simon and everyone in their shop. We can they'll get the big credits, and that's what we're after, really. So if there's a charity shop listening, then someone who owns the shop. If the shop's listening, it can't do much. Someone who owns the shop, preferably. Who can help out?
Nice. There's a lot of information that we've just discussed, like scripts, actors, roles, locations, crowdfunding, all sorts going through. All this.
We haven't done a lot of the crew yet. We can throw out a couple of crew names if you like.
Man.
Well, I believe you guys know Gareth from Rocking Horse.
Gareth Thomas,
he is our director of photography. So huge shout out to Gareth for being our DOP, because we need someone who's good with the camera, and Gareth is our man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who else have we got? I'm just checking. I don't skim through. I'm just going through our own IMDb. A lovely guy called Tim Robertson Bolton is doing our production design. And his work and our chat with him, we did it's weird. We went from we don't have any production designers to put a call out on social media in like some of the film groups to we now have 5 production designers that we have to talk to and find who's best for the job.
How's that process though? Because you can't just accept anybody and everybody that comes. I mean, if you know them and you know they're good at the job, fair enough. But you can't just have I have camera, I do film. I think everyone we asked for examples of work or at least like a CV or something, which I also know is really annoying because you have to start somewhere, and I especially know that, and it feels weird and wrong in ways, being someone who is just asking
for opportunities and trying to get in, to then go to someone and be like, "Oh, you haven't got the experience, we're not having you," it doesn't seem right. But we have the other roles that we offered people at different levels. We offered to everyone was amazing. That was the good. There was no one. If anyone's listening who who did apply, no one was awful. Everyone was so amazing that if any one of you were the only person we had, we would not have been disappointed. Like, they were all. So we also have 2 art directors for a reason that we cannot discuss. But that is Ellen Astbury and Elena Johnston. Ellen is someone from my film class and the co-host of my new podcast, the Love Rosie podcast, analysing the 2014 rom-com Love Rosie 5 minutes at a time. That will happen at some point soon. Had to get that in there as well. I haven't plugged that on anything yet, so that's exciting. We have costume design by Kolbra Sven Bjorsen. I'm really sorry, Kolbra, if I'm not pronouncing that properly. I'm really trying my best. Production management by Hannah Wright. Our first AD is Rhys Ord, who I met on Hood, A Legend Reborn. We were both runners on that for a really great movie by Adam Collins. And we both met as runners on the film set. Weirdly, this is the strange thing about the pandemic. I met him once in 2019. We were runners on the day, so we were chatting for like 8 hours over this whole filming day. Then have not met since. But Skyping and Zooming, it feels like he's someone I know and have been friends with for ages, but I've met him once, and that's so strange. But Rhys Ord is our assistant director, Katie Ranson is our prop designer, and Billy Bannister is our production mixer or sound boom guy, all the sound stuff. That is Billy's job, and Billy is amazing. I know Billy because I went to the screening of a feature film that he did sound for, so it was kind of like I found his contacts, and I was like, we need a sound guy, I'm asking Billy, and Billy, lovely bloke, is doing it. And then we've got our thanks, but the thanks credits are forever changing because if people donate a certain amount, they get a thanks credit, so I'm not going to mention any of them.
It sounds amazing, but like, how do you filter for all this? Because obviously you guys are still young, you're still learning, you're still doing studies,
and we're now the least qualified people on our own set. That is the problem. But
that's the thing, though, right? Isn't it? I mean, it's not necessarily about being qualified in a certain area, but it's about being able to manage the people that are qualified in that area. You know?
Yeah. I think it's that, and it's also we've made sure that we've got people who are willing to help and lend advice, but also not the people who are going to take over and try to direct themselves.
Yeah.
Which I think I've been lucky enough to not experience too many people like that in the past. But it's I don't know if I've experienced anyone like that, actually. It's just a thing I'm very scared of happening. And you hear of it, I think, quite a lot, is that there's, certain actors or certain crew members who'll take over. I mean, to look at The Room, there's a guy, Sandy Sinclair, who was the script supervisor on The Room, who for some reason decided to later take credit and write a book called Yes, I Directed The Room, which of all films to take credit for, Mr. Sinclair, not the best one. But just also going to do a little plug for my friend's podcast, The Room Minute, analysing The Room 1 minute at a time. I've been on 15 episodes, I think, 12 out.
Nice.
And I'm not even the most regularly recurring guest, which angers me. I thought I was, and I'm like second or third. But they wrapped up recording last week at this time, so 2 weeks ago, at the time of listening.
Wrapped up. What's that? Wrapped up recording.
But they're backlogged a while, so there'll be a couple more weeks of the show, and it's a lovely show. I'm promoting other people's podcasts. What am I doing?
It's because you're a good guy. So you're going to be recording in August. When are you aiming to release this? When would you like to, ideally?
Around January is the ideal, but obviously,
I think our IMDb randomly says December because they wanted a date, and I just chucked him December 1st. I think we aim to have it completed by December 1st, and probably a couple of private screenings. That's with Unstable. That was a drama. There is less pressure, I think, for the intended reaction of a drama, whereas with comedy, we want to screen this a couple of times and find out whether it works.
What works and what doesn't. It's going to be hard.
How we change it afterwards, goodness knows. But we'll. I think it's important because comedy and horror both don't work unless you get a specific reaction from the viewers, and I think that is it's
Unless you're
important
Tommy
to make sure
Wiseau.
Yeah, well, you just flip the genre. Apparently, that's a
You're
thing.
tearing me apart, Lisa.
Apparently, well, that's the thing you can't do about comedy. If you make a bad drama, you can do Tommy Wiseau and come out and say, "Oh yes, it is black comedy." And
It's a parody.
But
I watched a film that was very good the other day, but for the wrong reason. It's called Willy's Wonderland, and it's Nicolas Cage, and he's literally cleaning a building and beating up animatronic puppets that have gone psychopathic, and it's quite obviously a parody of horror films, but it just doesn't take itself seriously. And I think that's what the genius of things like that. You can see a film like that, and it's just like, well, they haven't tried. It's just a bit of fun. That's genuinely what it is.
Yeah, and that's all. That some of the worst movies I've seen have been some of the most fun stuff. So, like when I'm on that show, The Room Minute, every time you're on, they ask people to choose a bad movie, and so I've on each of my appearances had to bring a bad movie along with me and have to watch stuff. I never talk about the sort of bad movies where you can tell that people are having fun, because they're actually quite good. Like when you can tell that the cast and crew are enjoying themselves, it actually is quite a blast to watch. But other times, bad movies I'll talk about are kind of trash sequels, or the last one I talked about, which people should tune in, is God's Not Dead, the Christian movie. As a Christian myself, there's a lot of stuff wrong with this, and the way in which it is viewed among the Christian community, and actually the rather dangerous values and stereotypes it portrays. And so I thought I'd use the platform to talk about it. And that it's not normally that serious on The Room Minute. I'm not even talking about The Room Minute. What's going on? I'm sorry. This is what happens. You bring me on, and because I'm a podcaster myself, there's yeah, exactly. Alex, Yousefi, take over. Give me say what we should talk about.
Ow. We're going to put Luke through the gauntlet at some point.
We do. I would like to invite Luke on You Suck as well at some point, but the problem is it's quite an R-rated show. I'm like, oh yeah, why?
Yeah, but we certainly should get a gauntlet together for Luke.
Yeah, we've done it before on the Biscuit. We have done it before. Put Dave Courteen's daughter through it. It was just funny.
We'll talk.
I was going to say, I'll admit I haven't listened to as much of your shows as I should, and so I don't not entirely sure what you're talking about.
That's it, naughty corner.
Well, I love getting you on, Luke, and we will do this again. What are we calling this? Are we calling this? This is like a mini series of podcasts.
Yeah. Well, what I want to do, Al, is as a sort of, I think I said to Luke, I don't think I actually told you. Including you know what I want to do at all. I think he's kind of turned up like, what we're doing here. What I want to do is I want to kind of create like a series of podcasts following the journey of the development of this film. So that obviously starts like now. So we're talking about the run up to the film, then maybe then start, whenever there's development or what, maybe just as the start of the filming, we could then do another chat where we talk about what the challenges have been, what they've had to that kind of stuff.
It might also be quite interesting if you had like say an episode where you just had the people from our art department, or like just different I think
people that and what it's like working with Luke and Alex and just sort of really being heavily involved in the development of it, and sort of documenting those thoughts and feelings and experiences and stuff as the film progresses right through to complete.
I found that speaking to people that are behind the scenes that make actually physically with their hands make films are such interesting interviews. We've spoken to some amazing people that have done that. Peter Abramson, who did the animatronics for dinosaurs, and he helped make the Angel of Death for Hellboy 2, and all these things. He was an amazing guy to talk to, because he could talk about physically building things with his hand. Mick Strawn, who did stuff with Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff like that. He was amazing. And we're currently speaking to the art director from The Mandalorian to come on our show, because I feel like you do need to investigate what goes in behind the scenes. How do you make things work? Lighting experts. How do you make something look sexy, or how do you make something look sinister, or how do you prepare for that thing? All these
exactly.
Kind of things.
Whilst as a writer director, I love the fact that we get all the credit. It's really not true, and it's not worth it. There's production design, like camera operators, especially the director of photography, never gets enough credit for the fact that that's the look of the film. The camera going like that, that's their job. We just say do that thing and they do it. So yeah, I think it's very important to give everyone, even down to the production assistants. I'm not just saying that because I've been a production assistant, or layman's terms, a runner. But production assistant sounds way more clever than.
Looks like on the CV, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's like, hey, do I write I made coffee or do I write production assistant? But no, there's often a lot more stuff to the production assistant stuff, and I think even they're like really great and really important people to talk to, because it's fascinating the different stuff that everyone brings in their own. As long as all their ideas match up with the big final product, which is the hardest thing to do, is when we were like interviewing sounds so weird, when we were chatting with all the different people for the roles, especially for like production designer and art directors and stuff. It was like, what do you want this to look like, and is it the same as what we want it to look like?
I kind of get a bit of a sense of that, because I've done sort of backstage, stage crew sort of stuff for productions in the past, and I've actually had stage crew underneath me. I was a stage manager. And I had like a big A3 flipboard with the stage on it written, drawn several times over, and then literally with different bits of stuff on the stage then had to move, and literally had arrows with like names saying, right, because obviously switching between scenes is it's on stage live, it has to be done quick. So then like having people moving stuff around in a certain way to then make sure that, it's all done cleanly and fast, and then as you're taking something off one side, somebody else is bringing something else on, and things like that. People don't really see that, the thought processes that go into that in the background. And like you said, the sound, the lighting, all this stuff.
If a film sounds awful, it's so hard to watch, and yet no one ever gives credit to the sound guy. For example, of that, watch Unstable. We didn't have any sound guys. The rain is really loud at certain parts. It's tough, and so one of the as soon as we did this, it was like, right, I'm messaging Billy. It was like, we need a sound guy to sort this out. There's so many things that I think, especially at our level, understandably, we overlook, and it's kind of like, we can do that. And then it was what I've kind of saying with Alex recently. It's just like, yeah, but if we've got the ability to bring someone on who can do it properly, then bring them on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, one of the things I want to do as well is because depending on obviously what your plan is at the end, really, once it's sort of released, but I kind of have got designs on having the Biscuit host your premiere.
Well, I'm in if we can have a premiere. I think. What do you think, Alex? I can't just say.
That's sort of what I thought, because I mean, we've done the Shropshire Live, the Shropshire Live Festival,
virtual festival.
I
was like, I could help him, or I could let him fall on his face.
Not Shrewsbury.
I'm going to let you fall. Oh yeah, I stood on stage. I was like, "This is the Shrewsbury Virtual Festival." It wasn't. It was the Shropshire Virtual Festival. I did it in front of like 30,000 people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if there's one thing that offends us Telford people more than anything, is being associated with Shrewsbury. No, I should say that.
Living in Shrewsbury,
I should say that I'm on here and I study at Shrewsbury. I can't say that, but there's definitely Telford folk I know who are not, who get very annoyed at being bundled in with Shrewsbury.
I think I put something on our Facebook.
Do your own premiere.
One of the most famous things, our favourite questions to ask on the show is, what does Shrewsbury mean to you? And I put it on the Facebook recently, and some guy put, it's a place to be bypassed. And I was like, okay, because I know there's a rivalry. I grew up in Wrexham. I know Wrexham and Chester don't get on. I'm from Telford originally. I know what Telford and Shrewsbury.
This same guy started commenting on other people's, saying, "Oh, it's when my kids were born." It's like when mine were born as well, and I'd still bypass the town. like, all right.
Well, we love it.
I think I was born in Shrewsbury as well. Actually, come to that, but hey-ho, I guess I'm a Shrewsbury lad at heart. Just don't tell that to the Telford folk. I think now I may have made enemies on both sides.
Yeah, but you might as well just move to Chester or something, or Wrexham.
Right. Well, we're running out of time.
Shall I give them the link to donate?
Oh yeah.
The best way of finding our Indiegogo page is probably via my website, which is lukeallen.co.uk, and it's on the homepage there, I think. I mean, I could give you the Indiegogo link, but I don't know if anyone's going to be there for all the forward slashes. So lukeallen.co.uk is probably your best way. And or email me, luke@lukeallen.co.uk if you own a charity shop and want to help. And I'm sure if you message the Biscuit, if they're nice, they'll let us know.
Yeah, of course. If you can't find Luke anywhere else, then just drop us a line and we can forward that on and get you guys in contact. That's absolutely
fine. Any parting comments, Alex? Have you got anything to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, you know that Batarang thing that you had? I've got that. I was looking for it. It's like a bottle opener, yeah?
It is. I've given up alcohol for Lent, and this is just staring at me, so I'll just play with it now.
Yeah.
It has no purpose.
Yeah.
The reason why I picked that up is because we were talking about bad sound, and I remembered that I was playing Lego Batman 3 with my boy, and I love Kevin Conroy, love Batman. Batman is like my favorite. And like listening to Kevin Conroy in a badly sounded game because it sounds really echoey and quiet throughout the whole game.
It does.
Sorry. It kind of ruined it for me. I was like, how dare you do that to the Conroy? He is the Batman. Like, it's just so that's why I picked up that, but it reminded me. Luke,
I'm awful with sound because I keep coming in and out. I just fiddle and I'm fiddling with my microphone, and I do that all the time. And then I get to the editing.
I would be put in a naughty corner by Al because he would be like, "Leave your mic alone."
Or I'll kind of gesture and I'll turn my head while I'm gesturing, and it's not until I'm editing that it's kind of like, "Oh, why the heck did I do that?"
I've had to learn the hard way because I can't really hear my voice much in my ear, Shane. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal or anything. So I can't hear my levels very well. So I did a podcast live with the Yousefi on the Yousefi channel, and I was too close to my microphone. And these microphones that we use on the Biscuit are super expensive, super sensitive, very loud microphones. And I drowned everyone out of that episode for a whole hour, and nobody could hear anything because I was just like over the microphone. It was just terrible.
What mics are yours then? Mine's
the Stealth.
Aston Stealth. I wrote to Aston because I wanted a quintessentially British microphone. Okay, because you got your Behringers and your Shures and all these Rode, all these foreign companies, which I don't mind. Obviously, they make amazing stuff, right? But I was like, maybe we can get some British microphones and we can sort of help promote British sort of manufacturers. I wrote to Aston, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you some microphones and you can pay for them bit by bit, which they did, and we've had a really good relationship since. So
that is lovely. I think mine's a Samsung. I think Samsung.
Really good. If you can get one.
QU.
Yes, mine is Samsung Q1U, which I quite like. But if there's any microphone companies listening who just want me to try out theirs too, I'm here. Luke@lukeallen.co.uk. But yeah, it's I like this one. I've had this for a couple of years. It's good. I've done it again. I'll bring it closer.
I don't know where my microphone's gone, but I'm pretty sure I've got the one up from yours. We can say about
clicking pens. I usually click pens, and then Al sits there. He's like, "Who's clicking a pen?" I can hear it, and I'm like,
There's
I
also
shouted
like a
at him last
thing up
week
here
because we
that
were
I fiddle
gaming.
with.
We were gaming last week, and he was just like down the headset. I was like, dude, I will come round your house and I'll beat you to death. Stop.
There's this that's on my microphone stand, which originally, you can see how long I've had it. Originally was it was the phone holder thing came on top.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of loose and the things come off. I mean, I've had it for years. It's nothing against the actual. I've no idea where the stand came from. I got it for Christmas, but it's like that there, and I now just use that to wrap my earphones around. But I'm often screwing and fiddling with that when I'm on things, and it's great. But this is why I like these guest spots. I get to do all I want, and it's your job. So there we go.
Alex, how do you put up with him? How do you put up with him?
I really don't know.
this is why we can't have nice things. You know that.
Yeah. Let's reconvene in about 2 weeks' time. What do you reckon?
Okay.
About 2 weeks' time, we'll do something else. We'll see how far you're getting on, and maybe we can speak to one of your cast members. Maybe another Alex. Have you got another Alex to bring? We can. Alex
another Alex. That's your homework.
We will find another Alex to bring on board.
Well, look, you've been fantastic. I love chatting to you, Luke. Obviously, you're a young, fantastic talent, and yourself, Alex, too. You guys work really well together. This has been really nice. We will reconvene in 2 weeks. But before we get out of here, tell people where they can find you, Luke, on your social media and what have you.
Okay. For me.
Well, for whatever you guys are doing.
Right, I've got.
Whatever.
I'll give my quick autopilot of my socials from all the guest spots I do. Here we go, and then I'll talk about Mr. Middle Films, where they can find all this stuff, and Alex can plug his plugs. I am on Twitter at llama_bottle0. It's a very old Twitter account. I made it when I was like 12. I'm on Instagram at Ginger Luke, on Facebook at Luke Allen Film. All podcasts, radio appearances, newspaper articles, short films, anything I'm remotely involved in is over at lukeallen.co.uk. And my podcast, 2 Minutes About Time, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 2 Mins About Time. Christmas Act Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And the new one, Love Rosie Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And then Mr. Middle Films is just on Instagram for now at Mr. Middle Films. We've got a YouTube channel, I think, where we're going to post clips from different. That's what I was going to ask you, actually, is whether we can use either clips or the show and post it up on our YouTube as well. No worries if not. Give you the pressure on the air because we're trying to post clips of things from different interviews that we're doing, and the film will be up there eventually, trailers. You could also watch Command Denominator on there if you're just having a really good evening and you want to ruin it. And Alex, where can they find you?
Well, I mean, just check out Mr. Middle Films on Instagram. And do we have anything else with Mr. Middle? Or so I'm sorry, you had loads to plug, and I've just got nothing.
Sorry, no, I've got podcaster autopilot. It's not good.
You need to get on that, Alex. You need to get just a flash of you're like, right.
He's done what I did. I did with Mr. Squee. Mr. Squee invited me on his podcast, which is a big podcast. He speaks to Doctor Who cast members and Star Trek people and stuff. And me and Tom Bruno turned up with the USUC crew, and it was a live show. He's doing a 24-hour thing, and we just took over. We're like, the USUC boys are here now, sit down. We're here to run the show. And we literally took over. And he was just like, he was Mr. Scream. He was like, it was just one of those things. As a podcaster, you wouldn't.
Well, they can also find me on Podchaser, where all my podcast appearances are.
It's you mentioned Podchaser to me before, and I was like, oh yeah.
You're on there now, aren't you?
I'm on there.
You've got an account, but you probably
have to individually put your podcasts in, because that seems like hard work to me.
It took a while, but now now I'm on top of it. So like when you've got your own show, which you obviously do have several, you set yourself as host, and it'll automatically credit you for all of those episodes. But I like to do it for all the guest spots. So whenever a guest thing I'm on is out, this week it's Knives Out minute. I'm on Knives Out 1 minute at a time. That'll all have been out by this time they're listening. But every time a new episode comes out, I'm popping on my computer and logging on Podchaser.
It will be handy. I'm on the radio tomorrow. So I think so.
Oh, are you?
America. Calm down, Mr. Hinton.
Oh, I was gonna say we got Radio Shropshire tomorrow. You can't take our spot.
I'm in Manchester.
Radio and taking the credit for the biscuit all the time. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm the biscuit guy. I do all the biscuit stuff, and he goes on the radio. Doesn't invite any of the other biscuit team, just himself.
Well, maybe reach out to people and get involved with people, and then maybe you'll get invited too. Maybe instead of letting Whiteley do all the work, you know. But just remember, I love you. I love you. I had to do it once. Make sure you check out our website too, guys, which is the shrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk, and that's made for us by our friends at Web Orchard. If you do need a website, Luke, if you need a website, go to Web Orchard. They'll sort you out.
No. Luke's got one. It's Alex that needs a website because he's only got Twitter, Mr. Middle.
Well, I know, but if you ever want it, I've seen your website actually, Luke. It's very, very good. You don't need Web Orchard, but if you do want it, use them, please do.
Yeah, you've just got yourself in the big plugging circle now.
Pete came on our USUC show from Web Orchard, and he had fun, I think. I was like, Tom, we need to be on our best behaviour, and he's kind of like, "What's that?" And I was just,
I'm on 123 Reg. They don't sponsor me or anything. I like them though. But I've not experienced any others, so who's to say? But yeah, that's that. I've run out of words.
Yeah, let's get out of here. This has been the Shoes Biscuit. Thank you very much for joining us, Shane.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you guys. This is a start of an amazing thing, I think. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Real.
Right.
Peace out.
Guys. Peace out.